Hi there, and in this video I'm going to be talking to you about the R83DT in-ceiling speaker from OSD. And as with the rest of the Black series, you've got a carbon fibre drive unit and ceramic coated aluminium tweeters. And that's right, I actually said tweeters because this is a dual stereo speaker. You can also pivot the tweeters, and I'll talk a little bit more about that later on. And the 8-inch carbon fibre bass driver is a dual voice coil driver. So that enables you to take the signals of both channels and reproduce it from one drive unit. And as with all OSD speakers, they're really easy to hook up and install and get them in the ceiling or the wall. In the box there is a paintable magnetic grille that pops on, which means after it's been carefully painted, your speaker is almost invisible. We can now pop round the back and actually see how you hook this up. OSD continue with their attention to detail with the encased crossover throughout the entire speaker, and this greatly reduces the risk of any components getting damaged or accidentally being short-circuited. The R83DTs also have the heavy-duty and very strong spring-loaded speaker connections, but with a very slight difference. There's two sets of them. And the reason there's two sets of them is you have to run the left signal and the right signal into each speaker so it can then reproduce the stereo sound from one speaker. And you might be thinking, when am I going to use just one speaker? Well, in a minute I'm going to give you a couple of examples that you might not have thought of. And as on the other Black series, you've got the super easy to use dog legs which flip out when you turn the screw, which stops the speaker falling out of the hole. And then all you need to do is tighten up the 4 screws and the speaker's firmly installed. Now I think I've exhausted everything to do with the back of the speaker. If we swip back round to the front, I can carry on and showing you how cool this speaker actually is. Because we've actually sent the speaker a stereo signal and it's decoded it through the crossover, the high frequencies, which is the directional bit, go to the 2 tweeters. And because of the 2 tweeters are pivoting, this means we can steer the sound wherever we need it to go, which is really quite cool when you think of some of the applications it can be used for. Right then, here's a generic bathroom, and by adding a single stereo speaker in the centre, you can effectively cover the whole area with the bass and the mid-range, because we all know that's way less directional. And then by tilting the tweeters one way and the other, you can create lobes of high frequency, and this is spread across the whole of the bathroom to cover the entire area, and you've done it all with one speaker. Now the second example is a little bit more interesting, because you've got one large area that is split into 2 sort of communal groups. You've got the kitchen on one side and you've got the dining room on the other. Now here you can actually use 2 of the stereo speakers, so we're going to be using 4 channels of amplification. And then again with the bass and mid-range, it's quite omnidirectional, so we don't have to worry about that too much. But we can steer the high frequencies, one towards a dining room table and then the other to the kitchen area. And then that way the whole area has got a nice even spread. Unlike if you're using a pair of stereo speakers, because the act of it being stereo means there's going to be some information on one side and not the other, which means if you're not dead centre in the room, you're going to be missing out on something. Anyway, I just thought it'd be an example or a couple of examples to show you of what you can do with stereo speakers that you might not have thought of. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this little video on the OSD R83DT dual stereo speaker. If you have, please give us a like, a thumbs up, ring the bell and subscribe to the channel, because it really helps. Thanks a lot, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.